Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chicken Possible with Rewards Hunter, back with another Xbox Game Pass weekly quest guide. Today we're going to be working on the quest for the game Ryse, Son of Rome, and this is worth 50 rewards points. It's good through next Tuesday, March 30th, and we've got to earn 30,000 Valor within the game. Now, I had played a bit of Ryse, Son of Rome in the past, so my menu is probably going to look just a little bit different than yours is. I definitely recommend checking this game out and playing through it once or twice. It's a very cool game, and I think we're lucky that we have access to it on Game Pass. It's a little bit older, but still holds up really, really well. So you probably have the option to start a new campaign here. Because I had played so much of it, I've got the option to continue the campaign. And if you want to start over, you can go over to Timeline and New Campaign. And you'll want to set your difficulty on Recruit so that the enemies are easy to defeat. And there's probably about a 2-minute cutscene at the beginning of this just to kind of intro you to the story, so I'll skip over that and we'll start talking about the combat within the game, which I think is really well done. So obviously here we're going to press A to deflect an attack, so you can use that to block. And then Y pushes the enemies with the shield or your foot, it kind of depends on the context. And then X is basically the slash button. And then it tells us that we need to press down on the D-pad. After that, you can hit the right trigger to start an execution, and then press Y, and then X. And it lets us know that we have regenerated our health because we pressed down on the D-pad. So basically, you're just going to hack and slash in this. You're using X and Y. When you see the option for a skull over someone's head, you'll want to hit the right trigger. And after you hit the right trigger, the game will tell you whether it wants you to press X or Y. Basically, they tell you by the color change on the enemy. So you see here when I press the right trigger, the enemy gets highlighted in yellow, and then if I press the Y button, then I get a little bit of a bonus in those Valor points for doing what it tells me to do. And sometimes you'll have multiple ones, like that one was yellow and then blue. So watch it here. So I'm going to hit right trigger and then X because it got highlighted in blue. So you want to just take out all of these enemies on the bridge and then keep progressing forward toward the objective, and then you have a second volley of enemies that starts to approach you. So right trigger and then Y because he went yellow, and then X because he went blue. And I'm sorry for the graphic nature of this game, that's just kind of how this game goes. So if it bothers you, you might not want to complete this quest. Like I said, it is pretty graphic. Anyway, we'll continue on. Just hop over that little barricade and you'll see another mini cutscene that happens. You want to head to the left on top of this barricade to be able to jump off. And then we're just continuing to fight the enemies. Now the difference here is we've got some combat going on, but there are also these ladders that are off to the side, and you'll see that they're highlighted in yellow, so that means that the game wants you to go over to those ladders and press Y to knock them off, and that'll stop the enemies from climbing the wall. So I'm pressing Y here to kick off the ladders, and then back to fighting. So just keep mashing X until you see the skull appear over their head, and then you'll be able to do a finishing move on them. So I'm going to press Y to kick that ladder off of there, and we'll fight this guy. And apparently he just died immediately, so we'll just move on. And the game makes you slow down just there because there's a catapult barrage that gets fired in. And then this is the last section of enemies that we have to fight right here on the bridge. So at this point, the game wants you to hold down the left bumper to tell the Romans to fire a volley. So just hold down that left bumper for a few seconds and the volley will get fired. And those ladders are coming right back up. Man, all that work. So at this point, we'll need to order our troops to a certain location, and in just a minute, we'll switch over to a huge crossbow, which is pretty fun to fire. But before we do that, we'll have to tell our troops to sort of man that area that we just came through. So basically, just press the A button here and tell them to form a line to protect the right flank. And now we're on that giant crossbow that I was talking about. And you'll generally just want to hold down the right trigger to zoom in and then release to send a bolt out. So you can shoot these flaming bolts at the enemies that are walking up on foot, or you can shoot them at the vats of oil that are over on the right side if you want to, and take out some enemies that way. Every once in a while, you'll have a left bumper that you need to hold down. You can see if I hold it down here, I can tell them to fire another volley. So that's good to keep doing every once in a while. And if you don't see any explosives that are being highlighted, just work on finding some enemies that are coming across the line. Hold down your right trigger and take some shots at those individually. So I'm firing another volley now. So if you see something come up at the bottom of the screen, it's probably that you need to hold down the left bumper to tell them to fire another volley. And just keep using the right trigger to take your shots. And whenever something's highlighted in the middle of the screen, it's probably another explosive thing. So you can see they've got some enemy archers, and we're going to shoot some explosive barrels that are over in that area. So nothing in particular to shoot at right now, so we'll shoot some individual soldiers. And we've got some more explosive barrels that just appeared, so let's shoot those and take out the enemy archers. And these explosive barrels do take just a moment to actually go off.
Order the catapult nest to line up on the palace courtyard. Fire on my command.
So we just set the catapults to fire with our voice command, holding the left bumper button. So you can see the catapults are starting to bombard the enemy troops now. And maybe some of the friendly troops. And things are looking pretty grim, so now is the time to enter the palace and try to make sure that the Emperor is safe. So we're going to have a little bit of a cutscene coming up in a minute. I'm going to skip through a little bit of that so you don't have to watch that whole thing. As we enter the door, you'll have to hit the select button or the Windows button, whatever you want to call it. And then you can just hit the start button to resume the game immediately after that. You don't have to do anything with assigning skill points or anything like that. So we'll just go ahead and enter in, skip over the cutscene with Nero, and follow him to the vault. So you've just got to move through this first room and then go over to the door. You'll see it's highlighted in yellow, so that means we need to press Y to get through it. And we're pretty safe on the left and the right as we enter this room. The game wants us to press the right on the D-pad to assign XP at this point, and then we'll move down into the center of the room and fight a few more enemies. And you may have different notifications about ranks and upgrades that are being unlocked as you do this. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Basically, we just need to finish up this section of the level, and after that, we should hopefully have enough Valor through all of these different kills that we're doing and commands that we're sending out to unlock the quest. So I'm still just hitting the right trigger when I see the skull appear over the enemy, and then choosing X or Y depending on whether I see blue or yellow. And I think this game does a great job. You see I had basically a sort of a double kill that was going on there, and it let me just flawlessly kind of transition back and forth between the two different enemies that I was finishing at the same time. Very cool, very well done, I think. Some of the kills and executions, and then multiple enemy executions that happen in this game. Reminds me a little bit of the Batman Arkham Knight combat. I have no idea if it was the same company that developed those two games, but kind of similar with that same sort of combat style. So finishing off with a Y there because I saw him highlight in yellow. And I think this is the last enemy in this section before we get to the big barbarian boss of this level, who isn't too incredibly difficult to defeat because we chose the recruit difficulty. Alright, so we've got our objective coming back up. The Emperor will run down the steps and meet up with us now that he sees that everything's safe. And when Nero gets here, we'll head up to the next set of steps, and he'll follow along with you. And then the final enemy, the Barbarian Warlord, will appear, and he'll set a fire in the floor that we can't get out of, sort of a ring of fire that we can't escape from, and we'll have to battle him inside of this. Now get ready to hit the B button. You can use that to dodge heavy attacks. So we're going to hit B here, and just kind of roll out of the way, and then we can attack him from behind because he gets a little sort of stunned that we actually moved out of the way. What? It blocked my attack? I can't believe it. And just kind of transition between X and Y here. He'll dodge some of your X attacks. So if he starts dodging with X, then hit Y. And I probably wouldn't hit the A button in this section because any of those heavy attacks will really get you. So if he does another heavy attack on you, just hit B to roll out of the way so that you don't get hit by that. And at this point, now that you've finished this section of the level, you should have the quest basically unlocked for you. So there we go. So we'll go ahead and hold down the Xbox button to turn in that quest and grab those 50 rewards points. And that's going to do it for Ryse, Son of Rome. I hope you guys enjoyed that game. I've really enjoyed playing it in the past. It's always a fun one to return to. We've got a guide out already today for Dragon Age Inquisition, so that one is available on the channel as well. Check back in with us next week, and we'll have some more weekly quest guides available for you all. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, please be sure to click the subscribe button on YouTube and hit that bell for notifications. You can also find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Microsoft rewards and achievement guides, and I'll see you in the next one.